Hey everyone, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. So I had something happen this week that I really just feel that I needed to share. I definitely consider this a miracle. So I'm gonna just get right into it. I was driving down the interstate. I normally go about 80 miles an hour down the interstate. I'm in the far left lane. There's a concrete median that separates, there's two concrete medians that separate the southbound lanes with the northbound interstate lanes, and there's 4 lanes on each. And yeah, those are, we've got bunnies. I'm in my greenhouse. I'm not in the South American jungle. This is our greenhouse. I'm working out here today. Anyways, going 80 miles an hour down the interstate, and I heard a little noise, almost like something kind of hit up against the bottom of my car. And I looked in the rearview mirror, and I expected to see like a piece of my tire. I thought maybe I blew a tire or something like that. And I'm looking in the rearview mirror, and all of a sudden I see a gray fur ball just fly out from the back of the car and tumbling backwards down the freeway as I'm going 80 miles an hour. And I realize a second or two after that it's our cat, Fuzzy. And I'm going to give you a little context with our cat. I'm a cat person. Our cat Fuzzy is very much like a dog. She's not a cat that's always rubbing all over you. She's not annoying. My girls, we got Fuzzy when my girls were younger. She's about 5 years old, and she's like a dog. When the girls go outside and play, she runs out there with them. She follows them around. She's an indoor-outdoor cat. She roams our property and always comes back at the end of the day. She sleeps in our heated garage, but she's in the house a lot too, and she's a beloved family member to us. And so we are driving down the interstate. I'm driving down the interstate, and I see her. I didn't understand or comprehend what was happening other than the fact that it was her, and I'm freaking out. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, no, why? I'm super upset. And so I pull off to there's a median lane in between the concrete barrier and the far left lane of the freeway, and I stopped the car. And what I saw in the rearview mirror after her tumbling, I saw her actually jump up on to the concrete median. And mind you, there's 4 lanes of traffic going both ways. So I saw her jump on the concrete median, but then I didn't see anything after that because I had to look to pull over. So I get out of my car, I hop in between the 2 concrete medians. There's about a 2-foot space in between them. It's filled with snow, ice, garbage, broken rims, ripped up tires. And I thought I saw something, maybe like 1,000 feet back where she had jumped up, because there's all kinds of stuff in there. So I'm running through these dividers on the freeway, and I'm running back towards where I thought I saw her, and I get to that point and it's not her. So I'm continuing to walk. I walked probably about a quarter mile down the interstate. While traffic is flying both ways, people probably saw me. I've never seen anybody walking in between there before, and so people probably saw me and thought that I was on something or something was wrong. I'm just freaking out. I'm sick to my stomach. I'm thinking about the talk I'm gonna have to have with my wife and my girls, and I'm sad too. I love Fuzzy, and so I couldn't find her there. So I get back in my car. I get off the interstate on the next exit, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go look on the east side of the interstate. She would have had to, from the concrete median, cross 4 more interstate lanes with traffic. I mean, semis, cars. So I'm expecting, when I do find her, that she's just going to be laying somewhere dead. I mean, I was going 80 miles an hour, and she must have gotten underneath in the engine compartment of my car, and I don't know why. I mean, it took me a good 5 minutes to get from my house to the interstate, had a couple stops, at stop signs. I don't know why or what, maybe she was just scared and freaking out and didn't jump out then. But it was just the most surreal thing to see our cat, who I only ever see in our house and on our property, on the freeway like that. And I know she, again, I thought she was probably dead or hurt so bad and was going to die. And so I pull off the freeway, I get back on the freeway, I exit, I get onto the frontage road, and I come back down by the freeway, and I'm walking alongside of the freeway. And again, there's a concrete median there, so I wasn't in danger of being hit by, by a vehicle. And I'm just looking for her body. I'm looking on this embankment. I had no idea exactly where she would have went across, so I'm walking quarter of a mile up and down that area, didn't see her. So then there's a golf course on the other side of the frontage road, and there's a heavy patch of woods in between the frontage road and the golf course. So I'm walking through the woods again, just expecting to find her laying somewhere. And I wanted to find her so I could bring her back home and bury her, or, whatever. And this whole time I'm praying, like, God, please just let me find her. Please just let me find her, no matter what condition she's in. Just let me find her. And I looked and I looked and I looked. I walked through the woods. I didn't see anything. I walked a huge portion of this golf course. I mean, I'm searching hundreds of acres, not really knowing where to look. I didn't see her cross the interstate or anything like that. So I determined, okay, she's not here. I thought maybe she was still in between the concrete medians in the middle of the interstate. Maybe she continued to run the opposite way, like to the north, and I just didn't go far enough and look. So I get back in my car. I get back on the initial on-ramp that I came onto the freeway on. I pull over into the center again, and I'm going to hop in there and continue to walk as far as I needed to look for her. And a state trooper pulls up. And of course, I mean, if you're a state trooper, you've been through all kinds of stuff. So some guy, you see him just on the side of the freeway ready to jump in between these two medians, and the state trooper is probably thinking this guy is on something. Okay, I'm going to arrest him, put him in the back of my vehicle. So I'm walking towards his vehicle, and he's like, stop, get back into your car, get back in. He finally gets out. And I tell him, like, hey, I'm looking for my cat, which, again, he probably thought I was nuts. I said, she must have been sitting underneath the vehicle somehow and came flying out. I'm looking for my cat. He's like, give me your license. Give him my license. Another state trooper gets out of the passenger side of the vehicle. I know the guy. I sold his house. He's friends with somebody that we built for. Right there, God was working in my favor, because I said, hey, I know you. He probably thought I was nuts too at the time, but he gave me the benefit of the doubt. He let me go in between the center medians and take another pass to look, because normally they wouldn't let somebody do that. So I did that. I didn't find her there. They wished me the best of luck and said that if they saw anything, they would, he still had my number, so he would call me. So I get back in my car. I decided to go back over by the golf course again. I'm losing hope. I'm feeling just so awful inside and beat up and just, feeling like I want to cry, So pull in the golf course parking lot. I search the woods again. I'm walking the whole golf course again. I finally see something laying down in the grass at the golf course, and I start walking up to it. I get closer, and it's a raccoon. Same color as my cat, same size, but it's not her. I thought it was her. It was kind of a false alarm. So I spent about 2 hours in all looking for her, and I finally, and I'm, Fuzzy, come here, Fuzzy, where are you? Get back into my vehicle, and I'm just turning around in the parking lot because I'm going to leave. And then I'm going to have to call my wife, and I just would have to give up. And it just sucked knowing that, like, she's out there somewhere, and if she's not dead, then she's suffering, or she is dead and I'm not going to be able to find her. It just was a horrible feeling. And so I'm looping around in the parking lot, and there's this big pine tree, maybe like 100 feet back from where the parking lot is. And as I'm looping, I kind of look out the window, and I see something underneath the pine tree, and the pine tree comes all the way down to the ground. So I didn't know what it was. It looked like it could have just been a piece of wood, like a chunk of wood. I didn't know, but I'm like, okay, I'm going to go look. So I get out of the car. I'm walking over there. As I start to get closer, I'm like, oh my God, I think that's her. get a little bit closer. It's her. She's underneath the tree, scared out of her mind, obviously. I didn't know what to expect when I got up to her. I thought that she was, again, I was going 80 miles an hour, and she was tumbling, down the freeway when I saw her. And I mean, the fact that she didn't get hit crossing the other 4 lanes of traffic is a miracle as well. The fact that I found her, God finally answered my prayer 2 hours later, and I found her. So I crawl underneath the pine tree. She kind of scooches away because she's scared. She meowed, and it was a sound like I hadn't heard before. She was in a lot of pain, and I scooped her up. Amazingly enough, when I picked her up, everything felt intact. It was evident that she didn't get run over. I didn't run over her. But when I was approaching her, I saw she had some blood here and here and here. So I scoop her up, and I bring her in the car. I put her on my lap, and there's an emergency veterinarian clinic that's, maybe like 5 minutes away from there. So I put her on my lap. She's just laying there, head down. I had no idea what type of condition she was in, but she was alive, and it didn't seem like anything was broken. So I'm hopeful at this point, and I get to the vet, and I bring her in, and they come out, and they're looking at her, and they're like, this is amazing, but so far we don't see anything wrong with her other than the scrapes that she has, which was, she's got one on her ear, nose, and her eye there. They said that, the only way to find out if she has any internal damage or any broken anything inside is to do x-rays. So I gave them permission to do x-rays. And, all in all, it ended up costing almost $900 for everything, but it was worth it. I don't know how much. So they said this is going to take a couple hours, so leave her here, and then we'll call you after we do the x-rays. So waiting anxiously. I didn't call my wife yet because I didn't want to call her and scare her and give her information without knowing the whole story and what was happening or wrong or not wrong. So I finally get a call 3:00 in the afternoon. This happened around like 9 in the morning. And they say that they don't see anything wrong with her inside. They can't believe, number one, that I found her. Number two, that they don't see anything wrong with her. Just the scrapes that she has, and obviously she's probably super sore. So we get to pick her up and bring her home later that afternoon. She's in our house right now. She's eating, she's drinking a little bit. She's just laying and going from spot to spot. She's obviously in a lot of pain, but it seems like everything's gonna be fine. Her paws had a lot of damage. They said that her claws were shredded and her paws were all scratched and bloody, so she has a hard time walking, but she's doing a lot of laying and sleeping. And it's a miracle, the fact that God answered my prayer and allowed me to find her, number one. Number two, the fact that I was going 80 miles an hour and she flew out of the bottom of the car on the interstate and then crossed 4 lanes of the interstate, and all she had were some scrapes. 80 miles an hour. Imagine falling out of a vehicle going 80 miles an hour. I mean, I think I would die. I mean, if my head hit the pavement a certain way, that would be it. I would certainly have broken bones. So it's just truly amazing. And it's just, it took a lot out of me. I mean, it was what I would consider a really traumatic experience. I mean, the whole search and not knowing and seeing I keep seeing that in my head even now, like looking into the rearview mirror, and I don't see anything for a split second, but I'm waiting to see what is going to come out the bottom of the car, and then seeing her tumbling and then realizing it's her and like freaking out, like, oh my, like, no, why is this happening? How is this happening? No. and then getting out of the car and starting that search, but then ultimately finding her, and now she's here with us. It's truly amazing. I know a lot of people don't like cats. You're a cat person, you're a dog person. We're not dog people, we're cat people. But imagine if you're a dog person, or if you have a dog and that was your dog that, maybe was in your vehicle and jumped out, and, it was just an unbelievable experience. And it really put things into perspective. Again, I know this is a cat, but again, this is a little family member of ours, and I love her. My family loves her. So it would have been really hard if she passed away, and we had to deal with that. So it just was an unbelievable experience, and it put things into perspective. I've been stressed out with work a little bit lately because today's March 3rd, 2022. If you're not familiar, lumber prices are skyrocketing again. I'm having to have conversations with customers that I had already given pricing for. We need to increase it. We need to add a lumber escalation clause into your contract. Things that should deter people from building and probably will, and things are unknown right now. I'm still hopeful. I had 2 good conversations with people today. We're moving forward. I don't want to get too far off topic there, but just amazing. I had to share this, and it just goes back to, I guess, what I wanted to emphasize is that God answers prayer, and he will take care of you if you trust in him, if you have faith in him, and you give your problems to God. And it's not that he answers every single prayer, and it's not that he protects you from whatever. You have free will. Things can happen to you. He's not just putting you in a bubble and nothing's ever going to happen to you if you have faith. Things are going to happen. He doesn't protect everybody from every single thing, but time and time again throughout my life, I've been through so much and seen so many times where he has answered prayer. And this was one of those amazing times that just really made me thankful for everything. And I just had to share it. So that's really all I had for this. I thought that this was kind of a testament to what I believe and how I feel. And all right, and there's Fuzzy. You can see she got shaved on her paw down there. They had to put a little IV in her, and she's got a couple little scrape above her mouth there, and kind of walks a little gingerly. But all in all, she's doing really good, aren't you, Fuzzy? That's all I got for this one. So hopefully you have a great rest of the day. Take care, and until next time, God bless.